and welcome to day 19 of 30 Days of Singing. Did you get to watch the final of the Cardiff Singer of the World competition? If you did, then you will know that Scottish mezzo Katrina Morrison won the title, and she did it superbly well with a lovely and stunning presentation of 4 arias that showed her true diversity of not only skill and vocal colour, but the way she could communicate to the audience. And although the panel had a very tough job choosing between the 5 finalists, they said that she actually offered just that extra special ingredient that they were looking for when it comes to somebody being truly great. And the interesting thing is that she was a wild card inclusion into the final. She didn't actually win her heat during the week. She obviously did enough though to impress the panel, the judges, sufficiently to include her as the wild card in the final. So just goes to show, you never do know. It's brought me on to Monday, of course. Today is Monday, and it is the day when I hope that lots of students or people who are looking into their singing with me are thinking about their motivation for the week. How are they going to make a difference? And certainly if they were watching the Cardiff Singer of the World competition last evening, then maybe they may feel a little bit more sort of motivated to be a bit more determined about how they plan their week. And that got me thinking. Within my Virtually Vocalese group, we do have discussions, and of late one of the topics has been about making room for your singing during your week, mapping out your routine. And of course my advice to people is that all you have to do is to find a moment when you can say, this is when I'm going to be doing my singing. You know, it's like in entrepreneurship or marketing or being, somebody like myself, a small business owner. In order to get my business moving forward, I have to concentrate on the one thing that I really want to get going. And I have to do that day in, day out. And that is no different really when you are thinking about doing something like singing. And procrastination reigns. It's all too easy to say, I haven't been able to find time, I'm too tired at the end of the day, there never seems to be a moment. And I think that in itself bears some scrutiny. Now, I was thinking about this last week and took to looking on YouTube for some inspiration to see if I can help my group and to offer some sort of backup resources to contemplate about this knotty problem of how do you find time in the week. And I came across a really interesting TED Talk, and it's been given by Josh Kaufman, and it's called, just here on the screen, The First 20 Hours, How to Learn Anything. Okay, now what he's suggesting is that there are actually, when you think about it, how long do you imagine it takes singers like the performers in the Cardiff Singer of the World final? How long does it take them to actually get to that point of excellence? How many hours, if you could quantify it, would you put it down to? Now, Josh in his TED Talk talks about the 10,000 hours idea, and he's kind of saying actually scrub that, because if you get down to the basics, then actually all it takes is 20 hours. 20 hours to become sufficiently moved forward in your learning of a particular skill. And he breaks it down into 4 facts, 4 actionable points that you could do. And I agree wholeheartedly, and I'll come to that in a minute. So number 1, he says, you've got to deconstruct the skill. What comes first? What can't I do the most? What really needs sorting out? That's the first thing you have to consider. The second thing is you have to learn enough about the skill you're hoping to acquire. You have to learn enough about it to be able to self-correct, to be able to self-scrutinize, to be able to know that you are doing something wrong and you should correct it. So that's his second point. The third point he makes is you've got to remove practice barriers. This is a huge one, really, because it's talking about your willpower to find that little spot for your singing practice or your singing thought. Because you can do just as much work by thinking about what you're trying to do as well as actually executing it. And the fourth one, he says, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but you've got to practice for 20 hours. And it says here, you've got to overcome the initial practice thing. What he means by the initial practice thing is that nobody likes feeling stupid. I often hear it in students when they're having lessons and they're right at the beginning and they get frustrated with how they can't do something. How much they would like to get to the point where they could do this thing better with their voice, and because they're not quite there, they just automatically assume that they're no good at this and perhaps they should stop. Now that's what he's saying. You've got to overcome that initial sort of, I'm a complete beginner here, I don't know what I'm doing. You've got to break through that, keep going until you get to the other side and the threshold of learning just goes up a notch and you can look back and think, now I understand. It's just a cycle that you have to go through. Now, I found his video his talk on TED Talks really interesting, because I actually started to watch it because I saw it in the suggested videos and thought, what is this guy talking about 20 hours? Of course it's going to take far more. In the back of my mind, I sort of was thinking about all the many years and hours and all those journeys up and down to Notting Hill for my own learning, my vocal journey, and imagined, top those up and how much time have I spent, how much money have I spent? And it can't have been just 20 hours. So I started to watch his video thinking I was going to see what he had to say because I didn't agree. When in fact, by the time he got to almost the end of his video, his talk, I was completely in agreement with him. And I've realised that, of course, he is talking about what I am talking about all the time within my vocal groups, with my students. It's all about learning the basic tools that you need to know how to best use your voice. And once you get those basic tools, then you are well on your way to going up to the next level. 20 hours. Now he broke it down in his TED Talk. He's been learning how to play the ukulele, and basically he realized soon that if he could just learn 4 chords, he could sing most pop songs or songs that he likes to sing, because those 4 chords are in every song that he's interested in singing and playing. And it's a very amusing sort of 2 minutes or so where he puts a hat on, gets his ukulele out and sings through, I don't know, about 20 songs, just going through them one after the other without any break, and the audience love it, where he's just employing those 4 chords but being able to sing many different songs. And obviously he's making his point. My point is, my basic things come down to 5 things, and that's what I'm saying all the time. That within these 5 basic things that you can learn about the human voice and how to use it, once you have command of these things and knowledge about how they work and how they interact, you are well set up to count yourself as someone who likes to sing, or give your title singer. Now, I'll run through them again. I've done them before, but I know that some of you will already know them. They are, you've got to learn about posture. You've got to learn about breathing, how this breath thing works. It's not just a simple question of how much air can you get in to last you as long as possible to get to the other end. Oh no, it's about much more than that. So you've got to learn that, and then you've got to learn about this very special thing called onset. The moment when your vocal folds come together and make sound. learn the process. I mean, you do it every day, 24/7, when you are speaking. The fourth one is an exercise I like to use because it employs all of the previous things. It won't work unless you're using them, and that's lip trills, and that's lip trills, okay? And then the fifth one, which again is justifiably the last one, because this is sirening, and this has to do with, again, linking everything up, using everything you're learning with the other four exercises, but it also pulls into question the feeling of resonance and the correlation or the interaction between your jaw and your tongue, and you just getting to know how you're using it. So in the end, when I finished watching Josh's talk on TED Talks, I completely agreed with him. He had won me over. And so my point during this day 19 of 30 Days of Singing is that if you want to increase your skill with singing, you have to be in control and command of those 5 basic things. And that's what you would spend your 20 hours learning. Okay, that's what you would need to do. If you are interested and want some kind of backup, some kind of support, some kind of community where you can learn about these things, then of course you know what I'm going to suggest you do is I would like you to take a look at becoming a Virtually Vocalese member. It's a community and mentoring group where you get just the right amount of motivation and support to enable some of these singing skills to become a reality. So that's all for today, day 19. Thank you for watching. More from me later, and have a lovely day. Bye for now.